coming to you live from Angkasa Puri. I'm Renee Fong and this is Updates at Noon. And making the headlines today, smashing performance by shuttlers takes Malaysian gold tally to 3. KWAP to grow fund to 200 billion ringgit by 2025. Malaysia got back on the gold trail in stunning fashion on day 5 of the Birmingham 2022 Commonwealth Games. The national badminton squad produced a spectacular performance to bag the mixed team gold medal after defeating defending champions India 3-1 in the final, thus avenging their 3-1 loss to the same opponents at the 2018 edition in Gold Coast, Australia. Played at an almost packed National Exhibition Centre Hall 5, it was Tokyo 2020 Olympic Games men's doubles bronze medalists Aaron Chia and Saw Wei Yik who got the ball rolling for Malaysia as they saw off India's top men's doubles pair of Sadwik Raisaj Rajkeridi Chirag Shetty 21-18 and 21-15 in 48 minutes. Professional women's singles shuttler Go Jin Wei then took to the court to face India's 2019 world champion Pusarla V. Sindhu, and although the Malaysian lost 2022 17-21, she deserves a pat on the back for a fighting display. National men's top singles player Ng Zi Yong, sporting a new hairstyle, then had to survive a titanic 66-minute battle against former world number 1 Kidambi Srikanth before prevailing 21-19, 6-21 and 21-16. Buoyed by Zi Yong's spirited display, national women's doubles pair Pearly Tan and M. Tina then played superbly to clinch the winning point by downing Triza Jolly Gayatri Kobichand Pulela 21-18, 21-17. The Malaysian Parliament and the United States House of Representatives have agreed to continue to communicate and engage in various issues, in addition to strengthening their bilateral relations. Dewan Rakyat Speaker Tan Sri Azhar Azizan Harun said the maiden visit of US House of Representatives Speaker Nancy Pelosi, accompanied by her congregational delegation to Malaysia, particularly to the Malaysian Parliament, was very historic as it could serve as a platform for discussion between the parliamentary institutions of the two countries. According to Tan Sri Azhar, Pelosi's visit gave the Malaysian Parliament room to learn more about the role of special select committees. Pelosi and the US congregational delegation arrived at the Parliament building yesterday and held a discussion for almost an hour with the Dewan Rakyat Speaker, who was also joined by several Malaysian members of Parliament. Tan Sri Azhar said the meeting, among others, discussed several issues including Malaysia's Tier 3 ranking in the Trafficking in Persons Report 2022, based on the US Department of State annual report, as well as issues related to the palm oil industry, sustainability, flood disasters and global warming. Pelosi, together with the congregational delegation, arrived in Malaysia yesterday today as part of the official visit to 4 Asian countries. The Speaker of the US House of Representatives also held a meeting with Prime Minister Datuk Sri Ismail Sabri Yaakob in the federal capital. The Ministry of Finance MOF is confident that the Retirement Fund Incorporated KWAP, which launched the Teras 5 initiative today, can sustainably grow the size of its fund to a total gross fund of 200 billion ringgit by 2025. Finance Minister Tengku Datuk Sri Zafrul Abdul Aziz said KWAP also aims to increase the number of property assets to more than 30 from 17 and have more than 35 subsidiaries within the same period. He said this at the launch of KWAP Transformation Plan in Kuala Lumpur. Teras 5 is part of a long-term policy plan to increase the size of the fund more effectively and remain sustainable. Meanwhile, KWAP Chief Executive Officer Nik Amlizan Muhammad said the launch of Teras 5 proves KWAP's commitment as a driver of sustainable growth for the organisation and also the pension ecosystem in Malaysia. Teras 5 involves the empowerment of 5 key enablers, namely structure, governance, human capital, process and digital. Offering tax breaks to multinational corporations, MNCs will no longer be appealing in attracting them to Malaysia. The Inland Revenue Board IRB Chief Executive Officer Datuk Muhammad Nizom Sairi said under the Organisation for Economic Cooperation and Development's OECD proposed global tax reform, tax breaks will be disadvantageous for the destination country as the MNC's country of origin could claim the tax difference. Dato' Muhammad Nizom had announced previously that Malaysia has agreed to implement a global minimum tax of 15% on certain MNCs starting next year. Malaysia was among the 136 countries previously announced by the OECD as ready to reform the global taxation system. The standard corporate income tax rate in Malaysia is 24%. However, MNCs granted tax exemption will be taxed at a preferential rate of 0 to 10% for participating in promoted activities or producing promoted products for 5 or 10 years. Meanwhile, Deputy Finance Minister Wan Datuk Muhammad Shah Abdullah said Malaysia has consistently been responsive to current changes in the internationally agreed tax standards. He noted that the global minimum tax agreement would result in more than $125 billion in profits reallocation from about 100 of the largest and most profitable MNCs in the world to all nations, ensuring that these businesses pay a fair share to tax wherever they operate and generate profits. Petroleum Nasional Berhad Petronas has inked a Memorandum of Understanding MOU with 6 South Korean companies to undertake conceptual and feasibility studies towards establishing a full value chain related to carbon dioxide CO2 capture, transport and storage. The 6 companies are Samsung Engineering Co Limited, Samsung Heavy Industries, SK Earthen Co Limited, SK Energy Co Limited, GS Energy Corporation and Lot Chemical Company. In a statement, Petronas said the MOU also involves the evaluation of potential CO2 storage sites in Malaysia and exploration of other areas across the carbon capture and storage CCS value chain, including the strengthening of cross-border CO2 transportation. The national oil company said the collaboration is part of its efforts to build a sustainable portfolio with innovative solutions to produce energy responsibly, supporting the transition to a lower carbon future through collaborative efforts with industry partners. Carbon Management Head Emri Hisham said the feasibility studies undertaken through this collaboration will identify suitable technologies for the CCS and transportation value chain, bringing Petronas closer towards establishing Malaysia as a leading regional CCS solutions hub.
Why do we tell you stories?
Relevant,
New,
efficient,
accurate.
reliable. We bring you extraordinary stories from around the world, from politicians, bankers, and even your favorite celebrities. This and many more on RTM's English News.
Most of the International Aviation Safety Assessment IASA audit findings following the downgrading of the Civil Aviation Authority of Malaysia CAAM have been resolved. Transport Minister Datuk Sri Dr. Wee Ka Siong said that out of 29 audit findings, 26 had been resolved based on the re-auditing session conducted by the United States Federal Aviation Administration FAA on CAAM from 6th to 10th December. However, he said 3 findings are still not closed, with 2 of them related to legal aspect and the other concerns technical and training aspect involving the preparation of syllabus for CAAM inspectors.
Dalam hubungan ini, tindakan-tindakan pembetulan bagi menutup ketiga dapatan tersebut telah dikemukakan kepada pihak FAA pada 25 Julai 2022. Selanjutnya, pihak FAA akan membuat keputusan berhubung pendarafan semula dalam jangka masa yang terdekat dan diumumkan pada bulan Ogos 2022.
In November 2019, the FAA was previously reported to have downgraded CAAM safety rating from Category 1 to Category 2. Datuk Sri Dr. Wee also said that his ministry was collaborating with the Foreign Ministry and CAAM had already formulated a strategy to obtain support to retain the International Civil Aviation Organization ICAO Council member seat. Flight instructor Fajim Jufa Mustafa Kamal, 52, who was killed after the light plane he was in crashed on Jalan Dr. Nazrin Shah Ipoh on Monday, was laid to rest at the Bandar Tasik Kusuma Muslim Cemetery at 7:26 p.m. yesterday. His remains had earlier arrived at his sister's house, Datuk Fajura Jufa, 54, at Bandar Tasik Kusuma at 5:41 p.m. for the family and close relatives to pay their last respects before being brought to Surau Al-Kautar for funeral prayers. A Royal Malaysian Air Force RMAF van ferried his remains to the cemetery at 6:40 p.m. and he was buried 35 minutes later. About 500 family members and friends, including RMAF personnel and Chief of Defence Force General Tan Sri Effendi Buang, paid their last respects at the Surau.
Dia adalah seorang daripada jutabang pejuang yang di bawah naungan saya. Arwah adalah seorang yang saya boleh kata apabila di mana dia berada kan suasana tu akan menjadi ceria kan. He's orang yang kata apa-apa dibuat ni akan menyenangkan ramai orang. Dan apa yang kita lihat pada hari ini, kita boleh lihat berapa ramai kawan dia. Dia punya kawan ni tak mengenali kata orang batasan daripada atas sampai ke bawah.
In the incident at 8 p.m. Monday, Fajim Jufa from Semenyih was killed in the crash while his friend Muhammad Din Fikri Zainal Abidin, 62, from Bukit Damansara, Kuala Lumpur, was injured and is reported to be in stable condition. Both flight instructors were reported to have departed from a nearby flight training school before the incident occurred. Johor Police have busted an illegal cigarette distribution syndicate with the arrest of a local man and seizure of 4,000 cartons of untaxed cigarettes estimated to be worth 400,000 ringgit on 25th July. The man was detained at an oil palm plantation near Paloh by a team from the 5th Battalion of the Simpang Renggam General Operations Force following 3 days of surveillance. Johor Police Chief Datuk Kamarul Zaman Mamat said the team found 4,000 cartons of cigarettes with a tax value of 568,000 ringgit hidden in 3 vehicles.
Dan nilai rokok yang kita rampas pada di hadapan kita ini bernilai RM400,000. RM400,000 nilai cukai. Setelah dikira, itu nilai cukai saja lebih mahal daripada nilai harga rokok, iaitu RM568,000. Dan rampasan kenderaan, 3 buah kenderaan bernilai RM240,000 dan keseluruhan nilai rampasan yang ada di hadapan kita pada petang ini berjumlah 1.208 juta.
The case is being investigated under Section 135, Subsection 1, Subsection D and Section 35, Subsection 1 of the Customs Act 1967. Sports, teenager Amir Daniel marks Commonwealth Games debut with bronze in Judo. Stay with us. Teenage national judo exponent Amir Daniel Abdul Majid celebrated his Commonwealth Games debut with a bronze medal at Birmingham 2022 yesterday. The 18-year-old Penang Matriculation College student was handed the bronze medal in the 73-kilogram category at the Coventry Arena after his opponent, Dato Matsukatov of Cyprus, was disqualified for violating the rules of the competition. Earlier in the round of 16, Amir Daniel defeated Samoa's William Taitin 10-0. Then in the quarterfinals, the Malaysian lost to Australian Jake Bansett after being handed a penalty. Amir Daniel, however, bounced back from the defeat to overcome Narciso Mato of Mozambique 10-0 in the repechage to set up the bronze medal bout against Matsukatov. National judo coach Muhammad Nasir hailed Amir Daniel's achievement and attributed the exponent's victory to sheer hard work. Amir Daniel had also won bronze in the SEA Games in Hanoi, Vietnam in May. And that concludes updates at noon. A reminder of our top stories: smashing performance by shuttlers takes Malaysian gold tally to 3. Tune in to news at 10, coming up at 10 p.m. on saluran Berita RTM. Let us symbolize our spirit of patriotism and proudly fly the Jalur Gemilang as a gesture of our love for the country to live in this year's National Month celebrations. I'm Renee Fong, Salam Keluarga Malaysia, and have a great day ahead.